My name is Elijah Sexton, and I'm going to show you guys how to make your own adobe bricks today. Most people don't know, but half the population, or about 3 billion people on every continent besides Antarctica, live or work in buildings constructed of earth. So there's one that's pretty old right there. In comparison, in the late 1800s, the pine barrens excuse me, cut down almost every tree in the state of Michigan to build timber frame houses, and they cut down almost every tree in the state, and they never grew back. And most of the houses are probably all gone too. Adobes are a fun thing. You can make them really easily and cheaply, and they're a great project if you want to do some landscaping on your property and stay involved, because how many times can you think of somebody who wanted to do a project on their property and ended up paying somebody to come, and then they didn't get involved at all, until it was all over. So you can see these people are all pretty involved in this adobe house that they're building. But you can build almost any kind of home in a place where you don't have high amounts of rain, because they're made out of just earth, so the rain's going to wash them away. But you can use them for fences, you can use them for garden spots, you can use them for walkways. I've used them for floors, building floors up off the ground. So today I'm going to show you the 3 basic steps in making an adobe, and hopefully you'll be interested in giving it a try yourself. So the 3 basic steps for building an adobe are, first, just getting the right materials and the right equipment to make them. Second is actually mixing the mud in preparation and then pouring the brick. And then the last step is drying the brick and stacking it into the wall. So the first step we'll talk about is getting the right materials. I should have had a list for you guys, but this is a regular building trowel or a mason trowel for mud, just like concrete. You need one of those. Then you need a shovel. I like the flat end shovel so that you can stir the bottom of the mix really easily. This is a concrete mixer. You could also use a wheelbarrow. I'll show you in the pictures when I show you the process. I just use a big vat that they use for feeding cows. On your materials, there's only 3 basic materials. One is straw, one is water, and one is clay. You can see this is a chunk of clay from out on my property. Here's another picture of it while it's in the ground. But you can just use earth as long as there's a lot of clay in the earth. Like around here, you can see these pictures. This is just right out of the ground, and it's pretty high clay content, so it works great out here. So that's the material. That's all the materials you need. That's all the equipment you need. Just water, straw, and clay, and a way to mix it up and stir it up. The only other material that you need that I didn't mention is a form, and that's made out of 1x4 wood, and then you just screw it together in a shape like this on this block I made. This one is 9x18. So here's an example of, we'll go back to this picture here. This is, of course, everybody knows it's bale of straw. That's what my friend says is the best to use for adobe, but I don't agree. And I use just the natural straw that grows around. This is just a bush growing out. This is my shovel picking up a scoop of it. You can see it's straw, and I usually use about 5 gallons of straw for 2.5 gallons of water and another 5 gallons of earth. That'll make 3 adobes. This is a picture here of the mud when it's mixed up. So in the mixing process, what you want to do is just eliminate all the dry spots of earth and straw and get it all consistent, just like dough. So here's a picture. This hole here, this hole right here, I punched in with my fist just to give you an idea of how consistent it is. Once you punch your fist in there, or a couple of times, it'll just leave the impression once it's mixed right. But you can see from here that you can't really see there's any straw in it. Then, after you've mixed the dough right, the next thing that you need to do is pour it into your forms to make your bricks. So you want to prepare your form every time there's a glass of water. What I use is the glass of water, and to prepare the form, you just want to wash the inside of your form out, get out any loose dirt, and make sure that it's all wet. And that just makes it so that after you pour the mud into the form, you can pull it right off and it won't bind up, so that the sides will stay smooth. So there's the first scoop. Usually it takes about 3 good shovel scoops of mud to make one block. And if you compare it, it's a little bit bigger than an 80-pound sack of concrete to make 3 blocks. So each block weighs at least 30 pounds, probably more than 30 pounds. So there's the second scoop. There's the third scoop. And it's just kind of like a mass now. Then I'll take my trowel and I'll just start pushing it all around, and using the end of the trowel that's a poker to make sure that I get all the air pockets out, and try to get all the straw to lay down inside of it like a mat. So that when the clay dries, the straw will just be like one solid mat in the middle. And this shows it's smoothing out a little bit better, and then that's the form pulled off. Set aside for the next one. There's the water to start cleaning it off. So you have to clean the form every time. But you can just set out. I've done 40 in a day. You can do 3 at a time. And in the wheelbarrow, I've done it where you've done 6 or 7 at a time. You know. But so now that we've talked about getting the material ready, mixing the mud, and pouring the blocks, we talk about drying and stacking the blocks. So this is a building that I'm working on, and here's a wall that I'm working on. So again, here I got my my glass of water, and the unfinished wall I'm wetting, and that'll make the mortar between blocks stick a little bit better. So, like if you have an unfinished wall like this one, you'll just want to get it wet, and then you'll put an inch or a ½ inch of mortar, 1/2 inch of mortar in between all the layers. And in between the bricks, you just use as much as you need. You don't have to stack the bricks on top of each other. You can see this one, there's a 3-inch gap in between them. I should mention first, and we'll get to this one, this brick I poured on Sunday night, and it's already pretty dry. You can see it's probably not going to break. I like to dry them about 3 days, and then pick them up and flip them over and dry the bottom side. So some people say they need to dry for 2 weeks, but I don't think so. I think that as long as you can pick them up, you can flip them over, and usually once you flip them over, they'll be ready to use in about 12 hours. So back to the stacking part, you can fill in the gaps however you want, and keep, to make your wall size a little bit bigger. Just remember, when you're stacking your blocks, do it like bricks and stack over the cracks on the next level. So you want to stack it equally on 2 when you put it up. So, anyways, I've shown you how to gather the materials, how to mix the mud, how to stack the blocks when they're done. I personally have been building with adobes for about 5 years now. My friend showed me how to do it about 5 summers ago, and since then I've built a few cabins and a lot of landscaping walls and so forth, and shown a lot of people how to do it. So I hope you guys will give it a try and hopefully have fun with some projects. So thanks very much.